Welcome to a new episode in approaching pure consciousness. This episode is about ways of approaching pure consciousness. In the previous episode, you went into discovering consciousness, pure consciousness. And in this episode, let's talk about the various approaches that do exist on this planet. At this time, the amount of approaches is so huge that generally people are confused in what approach is the best for themselves, or is there any approach at all that can actually be applied to their lives. I myself also ask this question very often, and I wanted to find out what is the best. It's a classical, everyone wants to know the best. But the truth is, best is relative. It depends upon so many factors that only in the end of the day you alone can know what is the actual best for you. So while I'm talking again and again in all videos, try not only to understand by means of thought or conclusions within thoughts, but by actually perceiving, by actually giving the effort of trying to feel, to perceive, to know more directly than about logical conclusion. Because if you can come to an experience of consciousness by your own very self, which is very much possible even while watching this video, it is easily possible that you come to a deep experience of consciousness and of awareness. Most importantly, to come to an experience that your own self is consciousness, and that this consciousness is even your true self. Because this is possible, because it happens even through a medium that has been recorded. And still it is possible. Because this is so, I invite you, the watcher of this, to simultaneously remain conscious of your own self and to be consciousness. And while being consciousness, while being, to just listen and see if you can at the same time be consciousness and absorb information that may be helpful for you either already now or in general to be applicable in your own life. in the different life situations that you are and that you will face like every one of us. Okay, approaching pure consciousness, the methods. There are so many methods and so many no methods and so many teachers, so many sages, seers, so many masters. There are so many books, so many that it is impossible not to be confused. Why? Even if it's the same topic, it's the very same thing. It's only about consciousness. Still, by means of the different approaches, it is possible that one gets totally confused to a degree that it is again possible that one may actually come to an insight that the one approach is contrary to the other approach. How can that be? Example given. Let's assume we have a direct approach to consciousness, which is always an invitation at all times. While you're watching, always there's an invitation to directly remain conscious and be aware of your own self as consciousness. So this is a direct approach. And this direct approach seems to be contrary example given to an approach that says, first sit, then relax your body, then relax your mind, get calmer, get stiller. And to get calmer, breathe in slowly, breathe in deeply, and after having breathed in slowly and deeply for some time, the approach may say, after that, watch your thoughts and watch how they get calmer and stiller. And now comparing this to directly being consciousness, it appears to be absolutely contrary. So is it possible at all that an approach like mentioned right now, with breathing and relaxing and calming the mind, may at all touch consciousness? So what is your experience? Please write it down. My own experience is calming everything else and coming to a still body mind. Without having heard at all about consciousness, still will reveal consciousness. Stillness reveals consciousness. Why? Because consciousness itself, your own self-consciousness, is still. does not require any movement at all to be. And because it does not require any movement, and because it itself is stillness, any approach that actually leads to stillness will reveal consciousness. And when consciousness starts to reveal what is happening, please don't just think about it. This is the opportunity. This is an invitation to both consciousness directly, as well as to both being still in body, thought, any type of movement. What is your experience if you become still and thus consciousness reveals? Is it pleasant? Do you feel peace? Or do you feel angriness? Do you suffer? Do you feel sad? Do you feel unhappy? Or do you feel smooth, relaxed, peaceful? And what is your experience of consciousness? The experience of all those who have honestly and deeply spent their time and gave value to consciousness at all times in man's history. At all times in man's history, consciousness itself and approaching consciousness has always been described with words like joy, peace, even bliss, even ecstasy. So the most and the best of all descriptions have all been attributed to consciousness. Qualities of consciousness. And if these qualities of consciousness are true, and if you, by approaching consciousness, can come to the clarity that you yourself are consciousness. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean for all eternity? Welcome.